We're going to go ahead and get started. Well, it's in the back. We had a little technical difficulty. I was going to start early. We had technical problems. I think we're back up. My name's Sam Poindexter, NI4TG. We usually introduce ourselves. Let's give our call sign and our name. We'll start right here with Mike.
Henry, W4HHS.
Jim, WA4NOT.
Ken, KW4UC.
Linda, KW4UB.
Mary, KM4WPO.
Ron, W4UDB.
Bill, WD4OTY.
Harlan, W1HRC.
Going this way.
Whiskey 4, Golf Yankee Papa.
Gaff.
Terry, AK4D.
Henry, W2TZO. K4HAN. W4STH.
Stacy, W1LLO.
Jim, KV4SJ.
John, WS4NC. We're streaming the program, and we're running the room microphone. It picks up a pin dropping in the room. So when you start talking, you will be screamed. I just wanted to warn you.
N4GY.
Jim, NA4J.
Jim, W4UX.
David, WT4BYA.
Justin, KG40HQ.
Harold, N4HER.
David, KC4X.
Dan, KC4WSK.
Steve, WA3RTC. I'm new. I just passed the test.
What's your name?
David. Congratulations. Yet another day. Terry, W3NTS. I'm Randy, NC4RT.
We'll have a good look at that someday.
Mike, W4NAH. Bill, N3WPO.
Chuck, KM4IBY.
Mary, KN4LKO.
Jim, just passed the test today. Jesse James, WD4GYP.
Okay. We've got some call sign name tags that were made sometime in the past. John McKee, Aubrey Johnson, Norris Evans, John Powell, Thomas Williams, Andre Maycu, Mark Pegram, Rick McCullough, Lewis Mayer, Randy Thompson.
Yo.
All right. Thank you. Jeff McClevley, Jason Powell. I know Richard's not here, and Ben Burton. Okay. Kent, do you have a financial synopsis for us this evening?
Let's see, and as of today, our bank balance is $4,070.62. Major expenses coming up, we have roughly about $800 worth of insurance that's going to be payable 1st of July. And then the repeater maintenance, or not the repeater maintenance, but the site renewal fee that's going to be due here in another month or so. And then field day. That's the only major expense we have coming up. But I would like to make one other quick little thing right here, if we could. That this did come in the mail the other day. It turns out that W4NC took the club in-state mixed mode high power for the North Carolina Cuso party this year.
All right.
Really look good to track. Thank you very much. Harlan, do you have a couple of words for us this evening?
Yes, as soon as we can get it.
It's your turn.
All right. First item of business is the county is in the middle of a major rewrite. Actually, it's a ground up rewrite of the county operations plan, which I'm part of that team that's rewriting this thing, which is a huge undertaking.
considering it's about a 480-page document, and we're starting over from a clean sheet of paper. The good thing is that with the changes that are coming down the road from DHS and FEMA with regards to the incident command system and how amateur radio plays, in that we're going to have a larger role. And amateur radio will have a lot more things that we will be able to do for our served agencies, and a lot more in disaster emergency response, as well as public service events, such as things like we do Tour de Tanglewood, but how about the Dixie Classic Fair? Being able to put amateurs on the ground there to work with our served agency and provide them some additional communication support. You know, that's out there. Those are very viable things we can do. Being able to work a large-scale concert that may have 40 or 50,000 people at it, putting extra eyes and ears on the field and out there with communications. Not to take action, but to communicate. So all those things are in play. With that being said, one of the new things is, and of course the requirement is all the training. We talked about that last month at the meeting. We do have a training event coming up, the MCOM 101 class, which is on the 25th of this month in this room at 8 o'clock in the morning till about 4 in the afternoon. You do need to have that course so you can become certified for EOC and command post operations. You have to have that course in place. Or you can decide to take the 9-week online ARRL EC 001 course and complete it that way. We do accept that as well. And then you just get a short little briefing on differences. With regards to that class, I'm now designated as a mentor for ARRL for that course, online as well as a field instructor. So I can give that course in its entirety in a classroom situation. That's going to be 2 weekends. That's going to be about 2 full days, very full days of training, about 8 to 9 hours each day to complete those courses. That's just looking at the course software that they have. So close to 700 PowerPoint slides. It's pretty huge. So we can complete either one. My guess would be you want to do the 1-day course and be done with it for us. You're good to go. Along those lines also, we have a couple of new things that we're putting out. I'll pass this around. We now have our own emblem or logo, whatever you want to call it, seal for the Oxcom group. This will be on your IDs. In addition, this same seal will be available. They are actually being made now. We will have patches, 3-inch patches, 3-inch decals for your vehicles, and shortly we'll be posting a website that you can go to if you want to buy a golf shirt. They're gray in color. It's the only color you get to choose from. Actually, they're not gray. They're navy blue. Take it back. We changed. They're navy blue. They'll have that seal done on them on the left breast. They're very inexpensive. The nice thing is they're done locally, so we'll get them in a short period. As soon as they give me that website, we'll put it up. You go online, you buy what you want. You'll have golf shirts, long sleeve shirts, a sweat shirt hoodie combination, and a windbreaker combination. Our uniforms, when we do deploy as an Oxcom unit, will be a pair of khaki pants or similar, and that shirt. That's going to be our preferred uniform. That way we look professional. Why do we want to look professional? Because we are. When we walk in, we're professional communications folks. We need to look professional because the professionals are looking at us. And that's what the way they want us to look at. So,
Can you and Ken get these shirts? Can you and Ken get these shirts?
I didn't hear you.
Thank you. Ken and I get these shirts.
Can you get shirts? Yes. If you're part of our unit, you can get shirts. They will go out. You will get the shirts. And you pay for what you want. Also, our IDs are a little different from what we showed you last month. I'm going to pass this around. This is one. Stacy has the other. If she can pass around, you will have your photo ID on the ID now. Photo backgrounds will be white. Blue again is qualified. Green is trainees. So we'll pass that around so everybody can see. and that is a factual picture of me in my better days.
What are you using?
Yes.
Okay.
And finally, the last thing I have is, Ken, your treasury report was wrong. You were minus $200. Thank you. That was given to the Oxcom group for our work up at Hanging Rock. For the 9 people that went up there, or 13 people that went up there, thank you. You guys did a great job. We got support. Okay, that's it. We're done, unless there's questions. Thank you very much, Carla. We're going to take a little time this evening. There is legislation right now going through North Carolina House and Senate. It's a North Carolina hands-free bill. Now, there's some people are saying it doesn't affect us. Problem is, the way it was read out on the House floor, it does. Because they put exemptions in for law enforcement, tow truck drivers, and fire and EMS. But basically what it says is you can't use a communications device that you've got to hold in your hand. You can't use any two-way communications device or electronic device. You need to write your state reps, your state senators, and the governor of this fair state, tell them to make an exemption for amateur radio. Because as it's written, as it was explained on the House floor when they introduced the bill, we are not exempt. And we would be affected. It would make it illegal for you to drive down the road using a radio fixed in your car with a microphone. It would be illegal. And it would definitely be illegal to use your handheld driving down the road. So you might want to make that known to your...
Is this going to make CB radios illegal to use?
Yes. And they will not get an exemption in the state, I can guarantee that. Every state that's done this bill has had to go back and amend and add amateur radio to their exemptions, and they have. So we're trying to get ahead of this and get them to do it ahead of time. They tried this before and it failed, they're trying it again.
Thank you, Harlan. We're going to take some time tonight. Henry is our field day chairman. He's going to be out of the country in June. So we're going to take a little time tonight and let Henry
We're just taking 10 seconds.
discuss
Not
field
too
day.
Hey, everybody, first of all, I'm going to talk about a little fun here. First of all, Kent has secured our lease for Hobby Park. So,
All right.
one down, okay? Thank you for everybody who has sent me email already about Field Day. If you saw the club newsletter, which was nothing short of amazing, congratulations for Don Edwards for that publication. But there's one page of Field Day, and it has my email on it. So if you have any questions, you can, and my phone number, if you want to contact me, you can do that anytime. All I'm going to do tonight is pass around a list. If you want to get on the Field Day email list, so when we're talking about meeting to fix something or get things ready, you put your name on here. That doesn't mean if you don't put your call on or your name or call on here, it doesn't mean you can't participate in Field Day. It just means we're going to run I've set up an email group. So it's going to be nice and easy to communicate with each other. Put your name on there, call. If you put your email, I'm going to put you on the list. If you don't, that's okay. Either way. But I'd like us to get your name and call if you're going to be at Field Day and what you're interested in operating or doing or just watching. Doesn't matter. And for the new folks, you're going to have a lot of fun. So make sure you clear the 21st through the 23rd of June to come out and join us. So I'm just going to go ahead and pass this around. And if you have any more questions about it, you can contact me and we'll try to get those that are interested paired up with those who are going to be running the acting as band captains for the weekend. Okay. Did get some update on food. We're getting the food lined up. Steve, I got you. We got some other folks. We got grills all set up, so that's coming along nicely. We'll get with the pre-set up people. Sam was right. I won't be here on the night of the meeting in June, the club meeting, but I will be at the board meeting and we'll be doing some other things between now and then too. So I'll be on vacation. I took my vacation early so I could. So I don't want to miss that. So thanks, folks. I'll pass this around.
Thank you, Henry.
Yep.
Dale, do you want to give your presentation on the testing, the repeaters, and the new remote hams?
We'll make it hopefully real quick. For testing, we had four passed. Five passed. Good. Are any of those folks here? I see one of them. If you'd like to stand up, we'll embarrass you. Have folks applaud. And also the VEs that made that happen. Bob's here, and Henry, Mike, TUK. So again, thanks for the V's making the sessions happen. It went pretty smooth, didn't it? Good, good. Sorry I wasn't up there. I was down here with the internet opportunity to talk about in a minute. Okay, the repeaters. All the repeaters are up and operating. We have some upgrades or some changes to go through. For those of you that are new, we have a 145. Don't expect you to memorize this. It's on the web page. Up on Sourtown Mountain, we have our wide range repeater 145.47 down 600. All the repeaters have 100 hertz PL tone to get in. Then on Baptist Hospital, we have two repeaters 146.64. That mainly covers the county for 2 meters, and 444.275. Those latter two repeaters are also set up as fusion repeaters. The 6.4 repeater has fusion capabilities right now. I don't know how many folks we have dialing in. We have one other fusion repeater that we'll swap that with hopefully this week or next week, thanks to Gaff and David. We're able to get the new parameters in there, so it worked okay at your RV. So
Works in Tanglewood, Joe.
yeah. So we'll get that up there, and for those of you that don't have fusion, if you hear a buzz on your repeater, on your 2 meter rig or 440, just put the TSQ or cone squelch in there, or CTCSS, so you'll see it on your rig. You'll probably have to dig out the manual if you're like me, because you can't remember between the ICOM, Kenwood and Yazoo and other rigs as far as how you set that up. So if you have a question, drop an email. We'll be glad to look it up and let you know. Okay, back at 4.7, we had a change, getting internet up on the mountain, a completely new network that goes to the tower, and then 5.8 gigahertz going down. Got to get some time to get up there and configure that so that we can use it a little better than we are now. But that should be in good shape. That brings us to internet here. We have a new internet owned by the club, by Spectrum, that was up and working a couple weeks ago, and it worked quite well. We got a new application, Remote Hams, up that I'll talk about in just a minute, and things look pretty good. Last week, Spectrum went ahead and changed their Class C public IP address. Didn't tell us. Kind of like you have a home phone number, your provider changes it, doesn't tell you. So that caused some opportunities and consternation. Part of it trying to get the internet going here tonight. But I think you're okay for your presentation now.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Okay, so bear with us if just blame it on me if we can't get it going. But we'll get that going and get it going permanently. Okay, and lastly, I mentioned an application called Remote Hams. How many are you familiar with that application or have used it? Doc? Dan? Okay. Thanks for raising your hands, because I'd like you two to be testers coming up to kick the tires on that. Please give me until about Wednesday to reconfigure what we messed up today to get the internet working, and try it out. Tell us what works well, what doesn't work well. For those of you that are not familiar with it, basically it's an internet connectivity or screen where you'll see one of the rigs back there, and you can use it from anywhere in the world, from home, or if you're traveling overseas or something like that. You would come in through the internet and be able to tune the rig, not use the amplifier yet, but use 40, 20, 15, and 10, and be able to switch antennas. We're still fine-tuning that. That's where we're going to have some folks testing it. But that was the main reason for getting internet in here. So we'll come up with an administrative procedure to sign up and be able to use that. I think many of you may like it and get a chance to use it K3 without actually putting a foot in the door. So, I kind of went through that fast. Are there any questions?
Is that Android only, or Windows interface.
Windows.
Windows.
Windows interface, and I think iPhone also, right, Doc? You
No,
do? Android?
Android.
Android.
I've
okay.
already used it and talked to people around the country.
Okay.
Works beautiful.
Okay, so Android and Windows only. And we could figure out something else for the Apple, or maybe through VM if we need to later, but that's a follow-on project. Okay, any other
I have
questions?
a question.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned internet up on the mountain. What's the purpose of that?
Purpose of that is mainly for control, and there's some follow-on projects I don't want to talk about yet that we can go ahead and interface into the unit up there. I'll talk about part of it. Well, if we move Fusion up there, one of the Fusion boxes, after we test it down here, it's shorter to be able to go from Clemens to the hospital and troubleshoot, then go all the way up there, 2 hours round trip, find out the gates are locked or something and troubleshoot. So the idea is get it going well here, and then eventually move it up there, use internet. And then there's some other internet applications we've been working on, but we'll get that tested. I think the club will be very interested in, but too early to say anything right now. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dale. The remote hams
application is going to be great, and it's going to allow us to be able to use our equipment that we don't always have a lot of opportunity to use. And you can go on vacation, and there will be, I'm sure there'll be sign-up sheets, time allocations, and so forth. And remote hams has their own small set of rules, but this is going to be great. Tonight after the meeting, we're going to need 2 or 3 volunteers to help David get all the coax out of the shack and put it in David's truck. And I'll remind you before the evening's over, but this is for field day. So when David gets ready to go to field day, he'll have all the coax. I'll remind you that the business meeting is Monday night at 66 Pizza, just off of Stratford Road beside Academy Sports. We usually eat at 6:15 or 6:30. We have a great time, and then we have our business meeting. And this is where all these remote hams and a lot of other decisions about Wi-Fi and just club business is taken care of. Everybody's welcome. You just show up. If you don't want to eat, you can come at 7:30. But if you want, we have a great time eating and just sitting around talking. That's funny. A ham, never met a ham that didn't like to talk. But anyway, tonight's presentation is by Gaff, and we're all excited. This is going to be great. I hope your Wi-Fi works. And with that, Gaff, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. And somebody could dim the lights a little bit.
I'm sure you'd rather see this than me. Thank you. I'm sure all of you in here know what a hotspot is on your phone. You connect other devices to it, go out over the internet, do all that kind of stuff. What I'm going to tell you tonight is about a hotspot that will actually go with your radios, and you will connect to that hotspot from your radio to that hotspot through a computer out to the internet and go to another hotspot somewhere else in the world. This is literally a UHF answer to talking to anyone in the world. I'm going to try to be very brief. I'm sorry I do not have any handouts. I live in a trailer, so I don't have a printer. But I'm available, and if any of you want to give me a call or send email or whatever, I'll be glad to answer any questions. Tonight I'm going to go through this as quickly as I possibly can because I know we're limited on time. So to begin with, one of the first things that you're going to need is you're going to need a digital radio, whether it be DMR, System Fusion, etc., etc. I think Forsyth County is doing System Fusion, so I would suggest you go with that. Yaesu has a brand new one out, FT70DR. Right now at HRO, it is $149.95. That price is going down at the end of this week. They're having a Dayton Hamfest sale, and it's supposed to be greatly reduced. I called Steve up there and asked him if he could get a discount for us, And he said that probably the best thing to do was just use this discount because he couldn't go any lower than what they're going to be at Dayton Hamfest. So that will be online for them. The next thing you're going to need is a Zoom radio, Zoom Spot kit. And this is basically the firmware is preloaded, easy to upgrade software. It's got a built-in LED display. It's got a pre-image micro SD card with Pi-Star software. The price on it is $139.95. And again, Dayton Hamfest, the price on that is going down. There's going to be a special deal on HRO. This is the Pi-Star kit that I've got right here. That's what it looks like. That's how big it is. It's actually a Raspberry Pi Zero with a Zoom Spot hat put on top of it. And I put a nice $16.95 case on it from C4 Labs. And you can get that also. Come on, baby. I don't know where that came from.
It's good.
Anyway, next thing you're going to be looking at getting maybe is a case for it right here. That's the case, what it looks like. And the Zoom Spot power supply. You can buy this thing for $16.95, or if you've got any kind of USB, 5-volt USB cable, you can plug it into your PC and it works fine. That's all you need for a power supply. Next thing you'll need is the ZoomPod Pi-Star Bring Up and Initialize by David Hull, KC6N, free download. There's the PDF file right there. Or you can just Google KC6N on the internet. You'll find a number of places you can download this PDF file. And this PDF file is exactly what I'm going to be using tonight for this presentation. Also, a news flash, as I said, HRO is having a sale May 16th through the 20th. All Zoom Spot and FT70s are going to be on sale. So you may want to take advantage of that. And this is the PDF file that I was telling you about. Am I in your way over here, guys? Okay. This is a PDF file by David Hull, KC6N. Basically, it's about how it's everything about Pi-Star. It is really a cool PDF file. This document covers the initial setup, maintenance, and all that kind of stuff. It's got various parts that describe the steps needed to bring up a new system, followed by a series of appendices that will walk you through doing a lot of weird and cool things with Pi-Star. The contents, you prepare your Zoom Spot for first use. We're going to do this tonight. We prepare the SD card, you're setting up your Wi-Fi, configuring, customizing Pi-Star, configuring your radios, and then there's a whole bunch of different appendices and so forth that you can also use. Configuring your Wi-Fi on a pre-image SD card. This is part 2. I think I skipped something here. Part 1 basically shows you how to prepare an SD card. Your kit, if you get a kit, is going to come with an SD card already in it. It's going to have version 4 point something on it, which is the latest version. So you won't need to do part 1, but it's there so if you have to one of these days, you can. Part 2, you have your configured card already. This assumes you have your card from part 1 in your kit and came with a pre-image card. Basically, your hotspot must be able to connect to the internet. This section here shows the classic method that will work with any version of Pi-Star. Okay? Another possibility and a simpler method is referred to as Auto AP, which became, in version 3.4, that came about. You will have on your thing, you will have version 4, so this is also, the Auto AP will also come up. Meaning that if you fire up your Pi-Star, it can't find a network that you've already configured. It will bring up a Pi-Star network and you can log into it and reconfigure for whatever network is available. Okay? Basically, what's in your PDF file is this information. It shows you how to walk through and configure everything. You'll go to the URL here, Pi-Star UK index PHP. That is actually in the PDF file. That is an active link. You click on that and it'll take you right there in your browser. But basically, you go to this website, which is in England, You go there and you configure your Wi-Fi, and basically you go in and you will create your Wi-Fi or go into Wi-Fi Builder and set it up so that when you then go about, you'll go into your Wi-Fi Builder, and essentially in your Wi-Fi Builder you'll put your SSID in there. You'll go in and also put your PSK number in there, your PSK, which is your password for your home Wi-Fi, okay? And then essentially what it will do, it will create, you click on Submit Query, and it will create a file, WPA supplicant configuration file. It will download it into your downloads folder. And basically it's got the information for your home Wi-Fi in it. You'll go and you'll find, and you'll then take your SD card that came with your Wi-Fi, with your kit. Excuse me again. I've got little teeny tiny buttons here. I'm trying to negotiate. You'll take your SD card, put it in your computer, and you'll drag and drop that WPA supplicant file onto that. That file, by the way, that disk that you're going to have in your kit is going to be known as boot. Okay, and you'll simply drag your supplicant file onto the boot disk, and you're ready to go. Now that you've imaged your card, with your Wi-Fi card, let's configure Pi-Star with customized setup. Before you start, you'll have to install your Zoom Spot Raspberry Pi on your. In other words, it's two pieces. You've got your zero. You put your hat on top of it. You put your antenna on top of it. You've got your SD card that has the Wi-Fi supplicant on it. You power up this thing and you let it go about 3 to 5 minutes. It will take a while to boot up, and pretty soon it'll come up and you'll see that it has booted up. Make sure your PC is on the same Wi-Fi as your Zoom Spot Pi-Star is. Open your browser. Any browser will work. I've used a number of them. And basically what you want to do, if you've got Windows, you want to go to http://Pi-Star, or if you're on Apple, you can go to http://Pi-Star.local. And basically what will happen is you will key this in, hit enter, and it will come up on your screen, the Pi-Star software. The first thing you're going to see, digital voice dashboard, it will say no mode defined. And essentially you're going to wait here, as it says, you'll wait about 10 seconds or so for security to pop up. This will pop up down here, this will pop up, and you will enter Pi-Star as the username, and you will enter Raspberry as the password, click OK, and go on. And essentially, this screen over here is what you're going to see, right here. Bring your Pi-Star configuration up. Default set is probably going to be it for D-Star. In the general configuration block, select Zoom Spot Raspberry Pi Hat, okay, GPIO, and click Apply Changes. Now this is an interesting and weird little thing, because then what's going to happen, it'll go and it will reconfigure Pi-Star. It'll come up about 20 or so seconds later. It'll come up, and boom, you'll come right back to, this is what happens, you'll come right back to your configuration screen again. On your configuration screen, it will ask you again to re-enter your Zoom Spot Pi Hat GPO again. You enter this twice. I don't know why. I kind of think the first time it kind of activates it, and then the second time it pulls down the configuration for it. But anyway, you have to do this twice. Once your new configuration screen is up and the GPIO hat is stuck in there, you will go to your Raspberry Pi and you'll go to your configuration screen and basically put in the blocks that you want to use, the capabilities of it. For example, you can put in, if you want D-Star, DMR, Yazoo, P25, any of those modes that you want to use, you can use, and you just click them on. Okay? Be sure your control software up at the top is set for MMDVM mode host. That's multi-mode digital voice mode host. And also you make sure you want to say it simplex mode. You'll also click Apply Changes and wait for this cycle to reset. This Apply Changes thing, you're resetting and redoing all the time. Okay? I think I saw that screen. Maybe not. We already did that one. Apply Changes. You'll come down here now to this next section, and this is where you enter your general information. And basically what happens, you get to put in your call sign. If you have a DMR number, you put that in. You select a frequency that your radio is going to use to contact Pi-Star, and you put that one in. Suggestion, don't use any repeater frequencies that are around at all. You can put in your latitude, your longitude, your town, all that good kind of stuff. This one, I don't know what that is. Zoom Spot Pi-Star Hat GPIO is already in there. You want your node type to be private, and America, Los Angeles, actually we're going to be New York here, would be the time zone, and then English US, you apply changes, boom, boom, boom. Okay, again. Keep in mind, every time this thing cycles, you put stuff in, and every time it cycles, you are still not on the internet yet. You're still in that Pi-Star configuration thing. So it's not losing its network connection at all. You're just recycling and restarting it over and over and over again. If you use DMR, these are the specs that you will use. This is exactly what I've got on mine, the BM Brandmeister 3103, and all that's just like that. That's what it looks like. So what's so nice about this PDF file, it shows you basically what you need to do generally for everything. It makes sense. Also down here at the very bottom area, right in here, you want to set these as they are. Everything is private, okay? Here's the really important part, and this is the whole reason that you did the WPA supplicant file. Your Pi-Star software does not know anything at all about the internets that are around it. So right here is where you get to go and configure your internet, and you'll basically hit Configure Wi-Fi. There's a place here that you can go and, where is it? Scan for networks. You click on that and you wait. It might be 10, might be 15 seconds, but basically it'll come up with a list of your networks that you have in your area, your home. In my case, it was only one. So I put that one in, and I also put my password in for that network. I did a save and connect here, and basically the Pi-Star rebooted the whole thing. It didn't work the first time, so I turned the Pi-Star off and then turned it back on again. And it worked the second time. It connected now to my home network. Pi-Star password setup. Down at the very bottom here, it has a little area where you can go change the password to something else. The password is Pi-Star, and then the name is Pi-Star. The password is Raspberry. I would suggest you do not change that. I would suggest you leave that as it is, unless you got a real good memory. Because if you don't have a good memory, you get to start all this over again. There is a feature in here where you can go up under admin, and you can go in, and there's a place in here where you can go and you can actually do a backup of all of your configuration, and it will put a backup file in your downloads folder. Just save it somewhere. And if you ever need to redo all of this stuff over again, you can go in there and take that backup file, go to the first part of this file and download the Pi-Star software, flash yourself another SD card, put that zipped up backup file on there, boot it up, and you're right back again, ready to go. So there's a backup facility. There's a lot of cool stuff in this software. The Pi-Star dashboard, when we bring this up, basically when you're out communicating around, you bring this thing up, and here's what you're going to see. You're going to see all of the things, when you call it Pi-Star local from your browser, basically you're going to see all of the people that are on whatever reflector you're on. You'll see their call signs and all this kind of stuff. These call signs are also links to QRZ, so that if you click on one of them, basically it'll take you and bring up the QRZ page for that particular person. Okay? There is no login needed for this page. That's your main thing. It'll come up and it'll tell you, it'll have your call sign in there. It's personalized for you. Next, if you go in and you go to the admin, right here, if you go to the admin screen, it does have a Pi Star and a Raspberry Pi login, so you actually have to log in. It'll show you much more information about what's going on. It'll show you the internal temperature of your Raspberry Pi and all this kind of stuff. Show you a lot of Brandmeister stuff if you're interested in that in DMR. Okay? Now, setting up your radios. What do you do with your radio? If you have a DMR radio, basically what you do is you go in there, you dedicate a zone to your radio. For each channel you new zone. You set a TX and RX frequency to the Zune spot frequency. That was what you set in the very beginning. Your color code to 1, your time slot to 2, your admit criteria to always, you set a talk group to whatever call code you want your talk group to be. Mine was Brandmeister 3010 or something like that. And that was it. Yaesu System Fusion is the easiest of them all. You set up a channel on your radio that is a simplex channel for Zoom Spot, and that's it. That's all you do. Okay? Communicating with your Zoom Spot. I'm going to go through this very quickly. Basically what it's saying here is your Zoom Spot must be on the same network as your computer or whatever. Your home Wi-Fi must be on the same network as your computer so you can bring up your control screen and all that sort of stuff. Right here, home domain, home Wi-Fi, everything is seeing everything else. You can bring up your Pi Star software on this computer, because they're all hooked together. On this scenario, right here, your Pi Star is connected to your iPhone and your computer here and all this kind of stuff. This computer and this computer can see it based on a hotspot perhaps for your iPhone. This computer up here cannot see Pi Star software, cannot see the dashboards and all this kind of stuff. There is a excuse me. There is a place in here where you can go. It'll tell you how to update your Pi Star firmware. I'm not going into this. I'm just showing you it's there. There's a place you can go and actually update the board firmware that's on here. Again, I'm not going to show you that. Alternate bring up methodology. It works on version 4.31 or later. And basically what that is if you're in a situation like I was tonight, where I came into a brand new place, I hooked my Pi Star to my computer, I turned them both on, and I sat there and waited. You got to wait about 5 minutes or so. And basically this thing will find out that all of the configurations for Wi-Fi that you have, none of them are available. So what it will do, it will create a Pi Star setup network that you can join. You log in, again, Pi-Star, Raspberry, you can go in, go down to the bottom and configure your Wi-Fi, reboot it and all this kind of stuff like we did a little while ago, and then it's going to be, you'll be able to bring up your Pi Star software again. Okay? Next, cross-mode operation. I've got two radios up here. I've got a Yaesu System Fusion. I've also got a DMR radio. Jim Wall out at the Tanglewood Campground with me has a Fusion radio 70, and he's also got a D-Star radio. And before we found out about something called Alabama Link, which is a place in Alabama that has a bunch of routers and reflectors and all this kind of stuff, and every one of them are linked together. They will actually do the cross mode configuration for you. But if you're somewhere that you don't do that, the Pi-Star will actually do cross mode for you. In other words, you can go from a System Fusion to a DMR radio. You can talk to people with DMR radios using System Fusion. If your Yaesu System Fusion to DMR cross mode thing is checked, okay? Next pages will show you what I'm talking about. Right here, we've got YSF turned on, and then we've got YSF to DMR. This is how my configuration was for a long time. And I would sit there and I would bring up stuff on and go various places, and I could go to DMR reflectors using this and just, converse with people who were using DMR. So this is one way that you can do this. You can turn this thing on. However, in the recent history of this, remember, if you do this, it tells you here also, I'll bring this up, you need to fill out, you need to select this Fusion dialog right here. You need to select this to set up your host. If you're going to do this, you need to set this up as it says here. Otherwise, it won't work very well, if at all. You can have other modes operation while you're doing cross mode, and your zoom spot will scan. Here's the one that's really important. The mode you are crossing over to should not be enabled. In other words, if I'm doing Yaesu to DMR, I should not have DMR checked, because you'll get a lot of error rates and all this kind of stuff. You'll break up really bad, etc., etc. Trust me, I've done it. Okay? And you may create backup files for specific setups that you have using the backup utility that I showed you a while ago. Cross mode operation notes. Here the zoom spot scans for signals for DMR, D-Star, and YSF, but the YSF is actually listening for signals coming from P25. So you've got YSF to P25 going as well. So you've actually got 4 modes going there, but your YSF is crossing over to P25. And you're going to be able to hear conversations going on with P25. That's it, guys. Any questions?
Doesn't it take about 10 seconds?
Huh?
Doesn't it take about 10 seconds to switch modes
I think.
between the DMR and the Fusion, for instance? Like if somebody's on Fusion, then it takes...
Yeah, you have a little lag time there.
Yeah.
You do have a little lag time there, yes. Okay? Now, basically, I've got this hotspot. I don't know how many of you can see this. It's really small. But right here, I've got a MMDVM screen on here. Yeah, Dale, sorry.
I've got a question over here.
Yeah.
Gentleman on the other clock.
Okay. Actually, I have a comment.
Comment.
It was a good presentation. There's still, obviously, you can't go over everything. There's a lot of nuances past this. I'm the website administrator for Colorado Hotspot discussion. It's a talk group that we bridge 5 networks, P25, NXDN, D-Star, DMR, and Yaesu Fusion, all into one group.
Right.
We have nets where people can get in, ask questions. Our website has a lot of very specific information of interviews that we are adding to it quickly. You can find that at coloradodigital.net if you're interested.
Is that one of the reflectors that they can choose?
Yes. If you want to go DMR-wise, you can consider it TG31088. That is also for P25 and NXDN. You can do XRF or DCS 303 Delta for D-Star, and that's pretty much it. Or if you get on the website, we have a diagram of our bridging, how you can get into the one group to all 5 of the digital nodes. But if you go by that Zune spot, it's great, but some people are going to pick a cheaper route to like a jumbo spot. That's how I started. They're cheaper, they're not as well made, there's a lot more nuances to them, like when you get those, it's great when you get like a DVD or a Zune, there's not a lot of tuning to it. The DMR is very tricky to keep the timing exactly inside. So basically, every board they manufacture, every set, the frequencies off by so much. They usually give it to you, but not always. I went through it the hard way. Everything started on my data crash. I had to start it off with nothing, and you have to tune it like 10 to 20 hertz at a time. You find the right spot between DVR. I'm just saying it was great if you did this round, but there's a lot of other ones, a lot more nuances. If you use the information, it's a good source.
Could you give that website again?
Colorado Digital.net.
ColoradoDigital.net. Yeah, I'm sorry, I've got to move, I can't hear. Okay, this is my bad. I'm supposed to stay right here, he's got my feet print right here.
Sorry.
And as the man said, before you rush out and buy one of these, you've got 3 or 4 days before this big sale starts. Before you go out and buy one of these things, there are many, many different versions out there. Like he said, the DV Mega. There's also one out of England. It's called the Open Spot 2. This is $130. The Open Spot 2 is $230. The Open Spot 2 basically is a little thing like this. It's got a big button in the middle. You turn it on, it starts up. It's got a battery in it. It's self-contained. You take it, you put it in your pocket. You've got your phone over here in your other pocket with a hotspot going. They're connected together. And you've got your handy-talkie right here. You're walking down the street talking to somebody in Spain or Scotland or somewhere like that. Okay? There's a ton of these things out there. It's the big thing now. This is the one that I started with. It's the one that I use. I've had no trouble with them at all. They're very configurable. I've made a whole bunch of different cards. Like the gentleman says, you get one of these things, the cards will sometimes blow up on you. I've done the Pi-Star configuration a number of times. You get good at it after a while. But you do a backup and just put it back on there and you're ready to go again. Okay? The other thing, there's something else I was going to mention. Oh, what was it? They're a lot of fun. They're a whole lot of fun. I know it's not much over-the-air kind of stuff like real ham radio is supposed to be, but again, we're delving into a new thing here. I will also share something else with you that I found out just today, and I've got it going about 10 minutes before the meeting started. There is also something you can go to. This works on Windows, and it also works on Android phones. It may work on an Apple phone, but there's a thing, the guy's call sign, I might have some of it wrong, is PA7LIF, I think, or LIK, I think it's LIF. The fellow by the name of David in Denmark, programmer, and he has come up with something called Peanut Radio. David's got a last name that takes up the rest of the letters in the alphabet. But there's something you can get for your Android phone or Windows, and it's called Peanut Radio. And essentially, Peanut Radio is what we've just been talking about, but on your Android phone. It's very much like Echolink, where you punch it in, you talk right into it, and you must be a ham radio operator to do it. You've got to put in your call sign. You've got to go to David's website in Denmark or wherever it is and register and get a what do you call it, code to make it work. But if you want to get into digital a little bit, find out about it, and not buy a $130 radio, then you can do it this way. Dave?
PA7LIM.
PA7LIM?
Dutch.
It's Dutch, okay. PA7LIM.
You got a couple of YouTube videos on here.
Yeah. I just found out about that today. I'm sorry I don't have any more information on it.
So
But-
it's PA7?
PA7 LIM. Lima, India. Mike. So, any questions? I probably filled your little brains and it's just all running out. I know I apologize for going as quickly as I did, but in the interest of time, I don't want to keep y'all here. If you've got questions, I'm available. I'll be glad to answer as many of them as I can. Send me emails, however you want to do it.
Were you gonna demonstrate?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to demonstrate. I hope. Now, let me show you something here. We'll go back to this screen. I hope. I just got this thing today. We're going to get out of that. We're going to get out of that. We're going to come in here. We're going to go into this. And here, guys, is my Pi-Star configuration that I've got up here. As you see, I've got DMR hooked up and I've got YSF. Let me show you something. This is very important. I don't know if you can see that little mouse right there. When you get this kit right here, this thing here, it says MMDVM display type. It says here, when it comes in, it's actually on, I think it's on none. And you have to change it to OLED. And you have to have your device set to, no, it is actually OLED. You have to go in here and change it from modem to this device here, TTY AMA-A0. You have to change it to that. There's nowhere in the directions that tells you to do that. You just got to do it. Okay? I chose this frequency right here, 431.075 for that's where all my radios are set to that. I've got all this other stuff set up here, DMR. I'm going to Grandmeister 3101. Right here, I'm going to YSF. I'm going to Alabama link. You're saying there's a Colorado link in there?
What do you mean?
Huh?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get where you're going with that.
In other words, can you go in Pi-Star and actually set your stuff up right here?
If you do a static, you can do TG31080.
Okay, I didn't hear that, but if it's in there, we can find it. Okay.
Oh yeah, 31088.
31088.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good deal. And again, the way this thing works, I'm going to show you right quickly. Not that way. Come over here and you hit this, and you get a whole list of them that you can bring up and scroll up and down and choose. Alrighty? This is all private stuff set up here, etc., etc. We're having trouble with this. I reckon you are. Because you timed out probably. Let me see if I can get it back. What I would do to get this back is I would go to http:// Pi-Star.
Nope.
Nope, doesn't want to go to Pi-Star.com. Pi-Star. And it's having trouble seeing the network.
You'll also find sometimes if you go to the router, the IP address is changed and that doesn't work.
Yep. Let's see if we can go to here. Whiskey 4, Golf Yankee Papa, KN4, NBH. .192.168. 168.0.114. I don't know, maybe we can make it in where it works. Here we go. It seems Whiskey 4, Golf Yankee Papa, KN4 NBH. You see it's coming up here, with my call sign, showing I've got a burr 1.1, burr bit error rate. Whiskey 4, Golf Yankee Papa, KN4 NBH. I'm calling Jim out in Tanglewood Park. He's supposed to be kind of hanging out, waiting for me.
He's parking the trailer.
Pardon me?
He's parking the trailer.
Yes, yes, he's at the trailer. All right. I'm really not thinking it's going to connect. Anyway, let's try this one. This is DMR. Whiskey 4, Golf Yankee Papa, KN4 NVH. It's showing up on here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's showing up on here that it's going out. Whether or not it's really going out or not, I don't know.
You are.
I've been doing this all day at home.
Can I show you one quick thing?
Come on, please. Any help would be greatly appreciated.
If your net's not up, your status here will be red. Anything that's activated that is not connected to the network will be red instead of this color.
So it means it's working.
Yes, you are completely connected to the network.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Did y'all hear that? We're completely connected. Nobody's listening. Whiskey 4, Golf Yankee Papa, trying to contact anyone on Alabama link. Anyone on Alabama link, please come back. Whiskey 4, Golf Yankee Papa. I don't know if you'll notice or not, but the burr rate with DMR is a whole lot lower. Don't know why, it just works that way. Something isn't right. I apologize for that.
Back to you, Dash.
Huh?
Go back to you, Dash.
You could try the Merrick, see
Go
if
back to you,
it
Dash.
actually works.
Where it says configuration.
Say again, Bill.
Up at the top, configuration.
Yeah.
Go back to that. Go down and make sure it's on Alabama. That's what we need to do. It's on Alabama.
02, 03, 04, Alabama link.
Okay.
It is on that. Brand my yeah. Wi-Fi, let's see what we got here. Name is WAN 0, interface is up.
Just the 114.
IP address is 192.168.0.114.
That's what it was.
That's what it was. I don't know why we're not hearing anyone.
I'm sorry. You're aware there's a talkback system built into the DMR.
I'm sorry, I can talk loud, I can't hear you.
Keep stepping in your thing. I'm sorry. There's a talkback system built in the DMR. I believe it's 9990. If you talk into it,
The parrot?
you have to set it
Hang
to
on a
private
second.
call that.
Hang on a second. Zoom parrot.
Okay. Set it to private, not group, where that works. Talk into it, and then you'll hear a recording of your voice back.
Let's see if this works. Whiskey 4, Golf Yankee Papa. Whiskey 4, Golf Yankee Papa. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. It should be coming.
It takes a little bit.
Nope. This all works at home, guys. Sorry. So, I don't know what to tell you. I would have to sit down here a while and figure it out, and I'm sure you probably don't want to sit down here and watch. But that is the presentation. If any of you have any questions or anything I can do to help you get started with this, please let me know. It is a lot of fun, trust me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe in a few months I can come back and it'll all be working.
Thank you very much, Gaff. That was very informative. Remember, we need 4 or 5 volunteers to move coax right after the meeting. If you're going to buy a Chinese radio, buy it before tariffs go into effect. I believe June 1st, price is going to go up. I don't know anything else.
Motion to adjourn.
Did I hear a motion? I got a second and a third. Everybody have a great weekend.